Kia ora. Thinking and talking about our own death can be a tricky topic, but it is an important one. In this kiriata, we'll share some starting points for you to begin planning for your own tangi or funeral, including some tips for having discussions with your whānau. A reminder, we are not experts in this matter. This kōrero will be incomplete and imperfect, and we encourage further research and kōrero with your loved ones. Let's start with the law. When someone dies in Aotearoa, there are three main legal requirements. Firstly, that a medical practitioner or nurse practitioner signs a death certificate. Secondly, that certain deaths are investigated. And thirdly, that the mortal remains of a person are disposed of in legally permitted places such as cemetery, urupa, or a crematorium. There may also be bylaws from your local council to be aware of. Anything else done to celebrate and remember your life is up to you and your loved ones. Let's have a look at making a plan. There is no one right way to have a tangihanga, funeral, or celebration of someone's life. There are lots of things to consider though, so having a shared plan can make sure your wishes are as clear and easy to follow as possible. We hope the kiriata and Reo Māori Mai from To Tangi can support your planning, and we encourage you to further research the different options that are available. Discuss what is important for you and what you have learnt with the people you care about. If it feels too big to do all at once, make a checklist of things you'll come back to. Record your decision somewhere and share the finished plan with your loved ones. Keep it somewhere easy to access and make sure anyone who needs access to the plan has a copy or knows where it is. Be sure to revisit your plan and update it throughout your life as things change. People of all ages can be encouraged to share their wishes for their tangihanga or funeral. While a tangi or funeral is about the person that has died, it holds just as much purpose for those still living. It's a means of processing grief, of celebrating life and saying farewell. Once we've died, it's also entirely up to our whānau how they choose to carry out your tangihanga or funeral. Let's normalise intergenerational kōrero around death, dying, tangi and funerals. Bring in the whakaaro from your tamariki and mokopuna. They'll have lots to offer and lots to learn. Consider how to make your whānau and loved ones feel included, connected and safe in how your life will be celebrated. Let's talk about meeting as a whānau. Here are some things to consider when meeting with loved ones to have these kōrero. Do people feel uncomfortable talking about death? Explain to them why this kaupapa is important for you to discuss and why you value their input. Who needs to be there? Arrange a time and place that won't exclude people. Having a hui outside connected to te taio can support connected and productive conversations. Don't try to have the discussion when anyone is stressed, upset, angry or tired. Use prompts to have some ideas of what you'll want to talk about. Do your best to be honest and open and try to listen carefully and respectfully to what everyone has to say. You can always pause the hui and come back to it another time. There are a few things to consider. If you've ever had to organise a tangihanga or funeral for a loved one whose wishes weren't clear, you'll know how hard it can be. The following prompts are available in our free downloadable resource. You might want to do some further research on these kaupapa, discuss them with your loved ones, and make sure any decisions you come to are clearly recorded and shared with the people who might need to know your wishes. Let's start with your will. Do you have a will? Who is the executor? Do whānau know where your will is located and how to access it? Without a will to communicate your wishes and guide your whānau, relationships can become strained and the courts may need to step in. Have you thought about burial or cremation? Do you know your options? Are you able to be buried in your urupa? Do you want to be buried in a public cemetery or on private land? What about an eco-burial or being buried at sea? Do you own or need to purchase a plot or reopen a whānau plot? If being cremated, do you want your ashes to be held, scattered or interred? Let's kōrero about money. Tangihanga and funerals can cost a lot, $18,000 on average. What financial planning can you do now? This could look like savings, insurance, automatic payments or a funeral trust. Who'll be in charge of paying the bills? How can they access the money? If you have life or funeral insurance, who else is named on the policy for access? Relying on koha is not recommended. It's also important to note that some professionals may require deposits or full payment before providing support. Have you thought about what professional support looks like? Hiring a funeral director isn't compulsory, but they can simplify things. Do you have a particular funeral director you'd like for your tangi? Costs can vary and doing research now can save thousands of dollars. If you'd prefer not to use a funeral director, do your whānau know how to prepare and care for your body and follow all legal requirements? There are other professionals like funeral guides or end-of-life doulas who can help you and your whānau to manage different parts of the tangi process yourselves and provide holistic support. What about returning to the marae? Are you planning to go back to your marae for your tangihanga? What kaua do you need to be aware of? What are the costs for tangi at your marae? Maintaining as much connection as possible between your marae and whānau while you're still alive is important. Check out our other kiriata and Reo Māori Mai for more details on tangi on marae. Or what about staying home? Are you wanting to stay home or at someone's home for your tangi? What might that look like? What preparations need to be made? Check out our other kiriata and Reo Māori Mai for more details on tangi at home. Have you thought about service details? Who do you want to officiate the service? What are your preferences for things like flowers, casket, music, service sheets? Do you want religious or cultural elements included or not? Open or closed casket and lying in state. Do you want an open casket? Do you want to lie in state? Where would you like to lie? For how long? Do you want this to be open to the public or just for whānau? What about your body? Do you want to donate your body to medical science? If you're interested in this, plans need to be made well in advance of your passing. Are you an organ donor? Do you want to be embalmed? What about kai? Ensuring whānau and manuhiri have adequate kai is important. Are there people in your whānau or community who can lead this mahi? Make sure you factor in the cost for kai in your financial planning. Potential costs of caterers for a 3-day tangi can be $10,000. How will you inform people? How do you want others to let people know about your death? Consider making a list with contact details of important people, clubs and associations, service providers and professionals who should be notified. Let's explore how we can be adaptable. Depending on the location of your death and how it occurs, your whānau will need to be prepared for the different legal requirements. Try to make sure your plan is adaptable to different situations. We hope that the kōrero we've shared here will help you to start researching your options, have discussions with your whānau and make a plan for your tangi or funeral. This will help your loved ones uphold your wishes with as much ease as possible. We encourage you to share these videos and resources with whānau and friends to help us all normalise these important kōrero. Tēnā rā koutou, I te mātakitaki mai. Disclaimer. How to Tangi resources are intended as a starting point for further research and discussion with your whānau and community about death, dying and tangihanga or funerals, not as a complete guide. The information in this resource is current as of April 2025 and accurate to the best of our knowledge. Reo Māori Mai assumes no responsibility or liability for actions taken based on any of our How to Tangi content or of any other sources linked in this content. For more information and to see other How to Tangi resources, visit www.reomāorimai.co.nz/pages/How to Tangi. We would like to thank everybody who has been involved in the creation of these resources, especially to our funders. Tēnā koutou katoa.